Hey, morning, Nick.
Morning, guys. How we doing?
What's up, dude?
It's one of the few times I could get here on a Sunday morning.
How is the weather up there right now?
Oh, it's gorgeous now, man. It's gorgeous. It's like in the 50s. We just broke the
Nice.
cold snap. Can walk around with a
Just
light.
broke the cold. It just became 50 in Florida.
No, I'm done with the cold, man. I'm moving. I'm out of here.
Really?
I'm thinking about it, man.
I'm moving up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just went up to visit and I loved it, so I'm gonna go move up there.
Oh yeah. Nah, man. I've the past 2 years. I'm done. I want like a desert. I want a nice combine with chicken wire around my property and a crow's nest with a 50 cow.
That's legit.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's fair.
I'll give certain people I'll give like us a mail out like security passes. You can just come and visit me. Other than that, who goes there?
You're on the white list.
Compound.
That's it. I don't want
What
anybody.
sort of weapon is that? Yeah. A
As-
shillelagh?
Yeah, I mean, it's made from some
Axe
driftwood
handle.
from home. My buddy's family owns a golf course on a salt marsh, and he and his brother are always out doing stuff, doing work and stuff. And sometimes they find stuff, and his brother found this. It's super hard. I've hit stuff with it as hard as I could to try and break it before I started to before I like cleaned it up a little bit, but I just I cut it off so that it made kind of like a knob at the end, like a blackthorn stick would have. And I just
Nice.
sanded it down. It's got a little punio end for that I kind of cut at an angle in case anybody needs a little bit of punio in their life. And then I just did like some linseed oil on it to seal it. So
Nice.
it's a little bit yellower than it was, but it was pretty much this color. It really there was a little bit of discoloration in certain spots, so the linseed oil kind of like brought that out a little bit down by the base. But yeah, Yeah, it's just a stick. It's a whacking stick. This one lives by my front door. This is the just in case. I have like graduated weapons at my front door. I have like several lengths of knife just in case. If there's the one that needs to be just in here while I answer the front door, if there's the one that I need to be holding when I open the front door, which is a different knife. And my little Tramontina machete lives there too most of the time. I got one of these for Kaju Dog too that I'm gonna give him next weekend. We're going up to kind of war game our little camp a little bit. I think I'm gonna head up there Saturday night after work and hang out with them. And in the morning we'll kind of go over what we plan to do and scout out if we need to do. We might need to clean up the camp area a little bit, and we might clear a spot for doing our sparring and stuff. He's got a good little spot in his front yard, but it's kind of small.
Oh man,
it's kind of tight, and he lives on like multiple acres. The place he rents like a little double wide thing. Oh, it's really nice, but it's on like 5 acres. So
Nice.
Going up there, but I got him one to match mine. This one's so much cleaner than this one. But the other things that you can see, like at one point my handle was the same color at one point, but these are cool. They're cheap. Number one, they're made in Brazil. Tramontinas are made in Brazil, and they're like for the price that you pay, the thickness of the machete blade is really good compared, machetes are really thin.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
But for the length, right? So it's only 12-inch. This is only a 12-inch machete, but it's just super simple. One thing, I don't know if you guys have ever put any thought into knives, kitchen knives, even with rivets in them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have 3 rivets. If it doesn't have 3 rivets, don't fucking bother with it, because if one rivet fucks up, particularly this one, when you only have 2 rivets, when you just have these 2, this becomes a pivot point.
Oh,
a possible pivot point, or it also, if a rivet goes, it'll put insane stress on the other one. I learned that a long time ago hawking kitchen knives. I sold Cutco at one point, and they taught us about the construction of knife handles, and I learned some stuff about steel back then before I was really into knives. I was probably like 19. I think that was the first job interview / scam I almost got sucked into when I got out of high school. I sold vacuum cleaners too. I sold what are they? Kirby's. Sold Kirby's door to door. One fucking day, I sold 1 Kirby, and I sold it to this couple who had to get a co-signer. They had to call somebody else. It was the last sale of the day. 8 o'clock at night, they had to call somebody to come over and co-sign for them to finance a fucking $2,500 vacuum cleaner.
oh,
But I sold them on this, and I feel like a piece of shit for it, and this is why I quit. I brought it to their kids' room, and we had these black filters. Like you take the bag off, and you put this filter in place. Like if you sell them, they give you this special clamp that'll go on the inlet. And I put this black filter on there, and I vacuumed their kid's mattress for a second, and I took it off, and I showed them what it looked like. Don't ever vacuum your mattress. You don't want to know. You don't want to know. You'd burn your mattress every month, dude. You'd go broke buying fucking mattresses. Mattresses are gross, dude. They're just gross. They're nasty. I don't, I sweat like a hooker in church, which I feel terrible for poor Heather having to deal with that. But like, oh yeah, man, we bought a brand new mattress when I moved in here, and like my side, it's not so pretty. But I vacuumed this shit, and they had this mustn't have been, their kid was pretty young, and this must have been a secondhand mattress or something. There was a 1/4 inch of white stuff on this black filter, and these people freaked out. Like they lost their shit, man. They were like, oh, we can't have little fucking baby Jim Bob sleeping on this mattress. Like, this is terrible. And yeah, so when I left that place, I was like, I am never doing this again. Never. I am never ever selling somebody a fucking vacuum cleaner. Because if they can afford it, they're not letting me in their house. They're like, what are you doing? I already have a vacuum cleaner. Out with you. Like, I have a Dyson. Fuck off.
Hold on.
But anyway, I was kind of killing time because I have a couple people asking me for the link right now. And I'm trying to get them in. Ryan.
I'm well. 4876. Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You too. Bye-bye. Sorry, I was under quarantine. There was a COVID outbreak in my classroom.
Oh no.
And even though I got vaccinated, I still had to get tested. And the cool thing is I'm off of work for the next 2 weeks. So, I'm working from home.
That's why you're off of work. I see.
No.
What up, fellas?
I have vacation time coming up, but I like working from home. I don't have to commute.
Yeah.
I don't, I get to sleep late. I get to work out, I have a
Right.
nice little cushy schedule when I do that.
Mhm.
But my test just came back negative, so I'm happy. Even though I'm vaccinated, I don't want to be a carrier, That's
Yeah, I gotcha.
no bueno.
Especially in the environment of New York, man, like
Oh,
that's you're
Yeah.
living in a people warren.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's just so many fucking people.
Oh, I found this. I forgot I had this. You'll appreciate it. It's called a kumfat.
Yeah, that I was gonna say that looks like a people whacking stick.
Yeah, the policemen in the Thailand carry this.
Whoa.
Yeah, so my trainer got this for me, and this is good for breaking bones.
Yeah, for
And it's
sure.
it's very Krabi friendly with the
What up,
counterweight.
brother?
Yeah, it looks like you could whale somebody with it like that. Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, brother.
It also looks like if you had 3 more and a flat fin, you'd have a table.
it is very beautiful. I don't hit anything with it, but
Yeah. Well, that's definitely not made for hitting stick on stick. That's made for breaking melons.
Hitting a skull.
this is by my basement door, because in case anybody's coming in, they're getting this one.
Yup.
You're coming to my basement door. I don't know you, and your intentions are not what I want, and we're not going to have a dialogue.
Oh no. No.
They're gonna die when you hit them with that log.
Oh yeah.
Fun.
This is my backup. This is my backup.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
Those things are huge. Is that 2-inch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Looks
mean,
like it.
I guess Gene LaBelle's bigger than in life, because I was like, all right, looks kind of big. I was like, but I can't even wrap my hand on it.
The thing of him biting it, his head's like a cinder block. So I've never met Gene LaBelle in person, but I've met Gokor a bunch of times, and I've seen them together. And yeah, Gene, for an old man, you still wouldn't met. Like you'd look at him and be like, "Oh fuck that crazy old bastard! I'm going nowhere near him." I don't know much, but I know I don't want that guy to grab me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that's a bad call.
Yeah.
Okay.
But these are fun to spar with, though, dude. When Steve and I, when you clack these things, I mean, you hear that. It's like, BOM!
It must sound like a tree falling in the forest against another tree.
Yeah.
Those things are beastly.
Yeah, it works your grip, though, because if you get hit too hard, man, and you're not
Goes flying.
Yeah, that thing, oof. Yep. But that's the fun part of it.
Yep.
And of course, the fender dog thrusted it in my face mask.
Steve? No, he wouldn't do something like that. That's straight up rude, man. So my plan today was just like random shit. I have my various collection of notes and books and stuff, but I if anybody has anything that they wanted to kind of explore a little bit, whether it's a broad topic or a specific question or anything, I figured I'd sort of open up to that first, because sometimes that'll just lead down a rabbit hole that'll take us 2 hours.
Did you see the new that viral video with that guy? I think it's in Brazil. Two guys are duking it out in the middle of the street.
Oh, the
One
run
guy takes him
by.
down.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
no. I thought you were talking about that run by stabbing.
Oh, no.
That was a
No,
good
not
one.
that one.
Oh, that was a
That
good
was a
move.
good one.
That was a dick thing to do, but it was all the. I mean, like you could have scripted that one.
Fuck yeah.
You saw it coming, and it was
He
like,
even
oh,
did like that.
shouldn't have done
As
that.
soon as the guy turned, dude, as soon as he turned around, he just fucking zoned right in.
Oh yeah,
And the second the guy turned his back, he just went for it.
He did a little thing that I do when I duel too, which was kind of interesting to me. But anyway, no, what are you talking about? I'm not.
I think it's like filmed from like a second story, a third floor window, looking down the street. Two guys are duking it out, and one guy's like watching them fight. One guy takes the other guy down, and then the guy that was watching was a friend of the guy that got taken down. And he just pulls out a knife.
And he just fucking
stabbing the guy.
Yeah,
it's fucked up, man.
Oh,
it looked like it was in like a southeastern Asian country or India or something like that.
Oh, I thought it was like it looked like it was in like Brazil or some shit to me. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, one of those places.
I'll have to have you send me a link or tag me in the video or something so I can see it. I haven't seen that one yet.
It's just like,
speaking of second story windows, one of the videos that I posted not too long ago was some cops in Brazil or possibly someplace where they were speaking Spanish. I couldn't make out what they were saying. But there were some cops. They unloaded a bunch of shotgun blasts into a building, and they kind of like wait for a second. And then dude just comes running out with his machete. And for sure, he got one of those cops. Like, for sure, that one dude did not make it. But, there's two sets of lessons there. Number one lesson being, if you're the guy with the machete and the other guy's got a gun, just like that video of the police officer stuffing the other dude's gun and shooting him.
Yes.
I posted the other day. If you're the one who's advancing on the weapon, utilizing your offhand and relentless forward pressure is paramount. And if you're the one in that position, 2 steps back, then angle off. We talked about this on Friday night. I had Cholo and Michael Underdown, and Michael trains with Donnybrook Dog, and Greg tells him the same thing. He says, listen, 2 steps back, then angle off. Because if you start running backwards, eventually you fall down. And when you fall down and the other guy is running at you full speed with a fucking machete, like he's going to start cutting huge chunks of you out.
Okay.
And that seemed to be what was happening when the video cuts out. The lady filming the video starts screaming like, "Adios mio," kind of shit. And like, that's it, man. Like,
pretty good, man.
But done. What's that? My adios mio?
Yeah.
I've been practicing my Spanish. I said at work the other day, no soy maricon, pero $20 es $20. And my customer almost shit his pants. Because I'm not gay, but $20 is $20 in Spanish coming out of my mouth.
$20 is $20.
Yeah, cracked up the Mexican guys. They thought that was awesome. They all reached for their wallet, which was weird, but anyway, so one of the first things kind of based off of that topic that I would kind of think about is like having being the forward pressure guy. This is kind of like a lonely dog thing. You can do this in multiple ways. I'll demonstrate it with the buckler, right? So if you've got one guy running forward at the other guy and the second dude going, oh, fuck me, and probably backpedaling, the guy running forward wants to consistently be keeping the other guy off balance. So if you're just coming in, swinging like ones and twos against an untrained person, like that's pretty good. But shotgun guy could have stopped, held his ground, and cross-blocked. Like, that was what that guy needed to do. He just was shitting his pants. He had no frame of reference of how to handle that. But the guy was throwing predictable angles. So at that point, if you're trained to do it, block that shit. Knee him in the balls. Like, 1-2 solves that situation at least long enough for your boys to come in and start wailing the shit out of them, assuming they're not also untrained. You know, those guys looked like the closest thing to confrontation they've had is being part of some sort of South American death squad, because all they did was stand there, unload a bunch of guns, and stop and look. There was they didn't look like they knew what the fuck was going on. So this is also my like front door setup. Like, come on, motherfuckers, if we're doing this, you know, I'm able to fend off attackers, strike, cover. The club and buckler is a good 360 weapon combination if you're, you know, in that situation, and it's another good one for defending a small space. Like if you're standing in your front doorway, take one step back. They can only come at you one at a time at that point. In that whole Capitol kerfluffle that we had, there was a video that was taken of a police officer with a baton just constantly retreating from a crowd of people. And he just had this goofy bastard running forward at him, like kind of doing these. And the guy just kept giving ground. He just kept giving ground.
The staircase. That was insane.
Staircase. Right. I would have been.
He could have defended that staircase.
The staircase.
One person could have just stood at the top of the staircase and kicked everybody down.
Right. The staircase or the first doorway he got to. Get to the doorway, you take one more step back. They can only come one at a time, and you can just start smashing heads. And then after you drop a couple people, they're gonna have to start climbing over people that are laying in the doorway. And make a pile of bodies in the doorway. Now,
hey, yo, guys, I'm gonna head out because I have no reception and I can't see you. So
hey,
I'm gonna say goodbye and hopefully you can watch the YouTube.
Six
class
o'clock.
Tonight. What time?
6 o'clock my time. 9 yours. Anyway.
Okay. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Catch you later, man.
Take care. Be safe.
All right. So we'll get back on that. Forward momentum guy versus backpedaling guy, right? Forward momentum guy needs to download some Lonely Dog because he's moving forward, right? If he's striking with this side and his opponent does block, punch him with that one. Strike, punch, strike, right? And that gives the guy something else to think about. Realistically, if someone is running at you just like this and they're not going to do something with this hand, you only have to solve the one thing. You only have to solve the big cut. But if you've got someone who's doing this, even if you're defending against this, and then they come in with one of those, you're going to get clobbered. So, like I said, this is kind of a Lonely Dog combination. 1, 2, 1. Or if you don't have this, right? You go in, you throw this first strike, and they block it. Fucking grab their shit, pull it down, hit them. Right, so you got two iterations of that. You've got strike, punch. Now, there's different ways to recycle your main weapon, right? You can recycle it Krabi style, where you hit the guy and draw it back. Or you can recycle like Lonely Dog, where you strike through and we draw it back across our midline. When you draw back across the midline, if you do it in conjunction with the forward step as you're throwing the punch. So this isn't like I'm sitting here like, kind of stuff. This is, I'm marching, right? I'm going to go get the Brazilian death squad police officer that just fucking made a bunch of holes in my favela. So I'm running at him. So 1 with the first strike, 2 with the punch, 3 with the second strike. And then, you know, you could repeat, but this just, I only have 3 steps to work with here. So we're getting 3 steps. But the other option there is you make the cut and then you grab with this hand. And then as we're stepping forward, we either pull down or pull offline, right? If the other guy's running backwards, it might be hard to pull down. But he's frantically doing this to block himself, pulling to the side will work. His feet will keep going backwards and his upper body will twist, right? So I throw my big club shot and he gets his rifle up. So as I'm running forward, I pull him to the side. Boom, I can step and finish with this strike.
In the arms or the head?
Fucking
or wherever
head.
it lands.
We're killing Brazilian death squad police officers here, man.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't we're in the fantasy world that we're in right now. This is the we're not interested in hit them in the arms kind of thing. These guys are just shooting shotguns into your house. Regardless of what you did up to this point, we're in like the fight. So so the first strike brings his block, right? He's gonna go, shit. Boom. This one is a grab is a hit that sticks, right? You hit his rifle and grab it. And if he's still backpedaling, you steer him to the side. You don't want to steer him across this way because then you got to do so. I mean, listen, if you're so confident with your machete that you can gay cowboy him in the back of the head, fucking go for it, man. But I don't think so. I think we want to, especially when we're thinking about these sorts of situations versus just a duel where everybody's kind of like on the same page. This is a little more of a combat situation. We want to think of the most gross muscle movement shit we can. Like you don't want to start getting complicated. Doing complicated disarms when you're like, this is also one thing, Nick, when the first time that we fought, right, you've got some intricate movements that you've bred into yourself and you were pretty sure those were going to come out, but your adrenaline got to the point where like, you might not have been able to do that. You know what I mean? So it's not that there's anything wrong with having those things built in, because once you get used to the adrenaline, you'll start to be able to do them. It's a matter of, in the moment, you didn't necessarily have the big movements that are the thing that I do. You know what I mean? Steve is a really, really, really good example of the big movements because when you watch him train or you watch him spar, he makes very big movements. He's just a powerful guy who moves really well and covers distance. So it's hard to like, you can't really, I mean, you can kind of predict him a little bit, but you're still going to eat a big old shot. Like you could be like, oh, he's going to throw a caveman. Boom. Yep. He hit me with a caveman. So in this situation, you want to think of it the same way, because I've never had to fight some dude who was shooting a shotgun at me with a machete. So I don't really know how well I would handle like doing some kind of complicated thing. I would run in, boom, first shot. Either this one hits him and we're good. We don't, we can go from there into this kind of stuff. But realistically, like I'm saying, okay, he blocks. Once he blocks, my next step is going to grab his weapon and then we steer it to the outside, which means my next step, this might be just a pull off line to make him go like this. This could be a full twist. If he's frantically running backwards, this could be a full twist. And if you take someone who's moving in any direction and you twist their upper body rapidly in another direction, they're probably going to fucking fall. That's how Muay Thai clinch sparring works. You get the guy here and you start steering him around. And then typically, like what I like to do is I just start steering him one way. And then as he comes back the other, I put my foot there. And then sometimes I'll do a little hip bump or something like that in there too. But generally, like fucking fall over my foot. You can't, in Muay Thai, you can't hook your leg behind and throw the guy, but you can plant your foot and trip them over your leg. So yeah, deliver, stab, deliver. Sorry, my inner Boss Rutan came out for a second. Stab, deliver, stab, deliver. So anyway.
Dang the dang the dang the dang.
Yes.
The ballroom.
Exactly. I love that. The dang. Poor Boss.
That's a fucking
Boss.
classic, man.
He's such an interesting figure of mixed martial arts too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this combo is super straightforward. It's very Lonely Dog style. It's just 1, 2, 3. Right? So we're coming in. We're going 1, 2, 3. So this one is the grab and pull. So you're either steering him straight to the side or pulling. And then you finish with the strike. 1, 2, 3. And then with the variation of the punch. So if he puts his arms up like this, like an idiot, which some people, so in the adrenal state, people aren't necessarily going to be act like really smoothly and tightly blocking. They might block like this. And if the guy just sticks his hands up in the air, he's giving you a favor. Because now, bang, you punch him with your other hand. Or if you had, I had my buckler, this could be a trash can lid. This could be the lid of a pot. It could be anything that you can get into your hand. It could be anything with a handle that goes in front of your knuckles. But boom. This is also the more stick fighting applicable combo. You could do this for sure with the grab, but I like to do it with the strike as well. Just so that, we've got two sort of primal options with the same combination. 1, 2, 3. I actually might switch to machete. So if we're talking about a bladed weapon versus a club, right? This is where that Krabi type of drawback versus the big cut and lonely style drawback can start to be played with a little bit. So with the blade, we're hacking in and that guy had it could have been the same brand machete. But that guy was coming out with just big primal chops. As Filipino martial artists, we should be understanding the cut versus the chop. So yeah, you want to chop that thing in to get some penetration, but then you want to slide it, because that's how you cut, is sliding along the edge. So this first chop might be bringing a block, but if the block comes from, say, their arm, or they don't block, we want to draw back through the material. We don't want to get stuck. Especially a thinner blade, if you have a machete, it has the tendency to stick in bone. And these things, even this one's kind of stiff because it's short, but there's a little flex to it. These will bend and twist. So if you get this stuck in bone and you do this, it might literally spring out of your hand. So you want to build in the motion of strike and cut through. And in the case of Krabi Krabong, that's what they're doing. They strike and they draw their sword back through the material to recycle. So from here, you want to cut through, strike, grab, whatever, cut again. You've got the club, flock them, hit them hard, boom, recycle this way, strike all the way through. Boom. Hi, Chris. How's it going?
What's going on?
Living the dream, living the dream.
Yeah, sorry, I was caught up last week.
That's all right. It is what it is, man. Steve's not around this week. I keep these links rolling every week, and whoever shows up, shows up.
Yeah.
So we're sort of talking about, there was a scenario that I posted a video on a couple weeks ago, somewhere in South America, where some sort of police or paramilitary unit fired some shotguns into a house, and then when they stop to see what happened, the guy runs out with a machete. And there's a moment of guy sprinting forward with weapon, guy backpedaling frantically with weapon, guy backpedaling falls. And the video cuts out right around the time he's receiving this first downward blow to the face.
Yeah.
So, in our particular thing that we do, like the possibility of backing up while somebody's coming forward, and we're just kind of exploring the two guys' roles in that situation, and like, hey, how could we improve this? How could we take our skill set, put it into that, whatever. So anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. And I've been alternating between a machete and a club, just kind of going into the realities of using each game and sort of what needs to be considered. The first combo was basically so we're marching forward. This is a marching forward kind of thing because we're the guy who's advancing. So instead of advancing this way, so what we're doing is the first strike. You might consider the mute button a bit loud. There we go. Woo. All right. So the first, the sort of like, I made this kind of a multiple iteration situation here. So the first thing we're thinking of is I've got a machete and I'm charging at my opponent, right? So my first strike brings his rifle up to block. When he blocks, my first move, punch him in his face and then strike. So it's wow, 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 right? The second idea would be grab his rifle and redirect him. So same idea, my first strike brings a rifle roof block, we'll call it, right? Brings the rifle roof block. Instead of punching him in his face, now grab the rifle and pull. So one, grab, pull, and then finish, right? Because we're assuming, or our goal, well, I won't say we're assuming because we all know when you assume, you make ass.
You make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah. So what we're hoping to do here is when he puts his rifle up and we grab it and pull, that because he's backpedaling, it's going to cause him to stumble and either fall to the ground or at least turn and open up the vital organs. And if we're pulling this way, this is going to open thrusts to the heart and lungs or massive hacks into the soft tissue or the head. So, he's the bad guy, I think, in this situation, but we're sort of throwing the morality of it out the window and going into just sort of guy A versus guy B in this situation. So 1, 2, 3. And then it breaks down further than just the punch and the grab into what kind of weapon do you have? If you have a blade, you don't want to get stuck, especially a thin, like machete type of blade will get stuck in bone. And if they move, this will twist. I mean, if I had gloves on, I could probably twist this blade. And this is a short, stiff machete. Like this is a pretty good weapon. But for the case of what we're talking about here, we don't want to get stuck. So as we're striking, we're drawing the blade back, Krabi Krabong style. So we hit into the material and draw back so that we don't lose it. Also, if they block, you don't want to like rebound off really hard. You're bringing it back, grab or punch, and then finish with another one. With the club, totally different. You're relying on the impact. So you're hitting that guy hard. You're trying to knock his rifle out of his hand. You know what I mean? Like I'm not worried about the edge of my club. So I'm smashing, grabbing, smashing. This combination is, as I was kind of telling these guys, very Lonely Dog-esque. The forehand live hand, forehand kind of thing is falls into his wheelhouse pretty strongly. So just this, right? This is a good way to practice. You don't have to, this could be a grab, this could be a punch, this could just be like a limp-wristed flap. It doesn't matter. Just practicing getting the 1-2 going. For some people, like I do a lot of kickboxing, so this sort of thing is pretty natural to me to be doing. But then the next sort of breakdown from just standing in one place doing it, but you can see how much I'm moving my hips. Like if I don't put my strikes out, I'm whipping my hips into this whole thing. If I'm doing it from a striking standpoint, a 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Or from a marching standpoint, rather. So that's sort of the, we're out at this moment, we're not in the like this sort of mode where we're fighting somebody who's equally on the same footing. This is more of a combat situation. I'm coming to get that guy, then I got to go get his friend, then I got to go get somebody else. So from here, we're going 1, 2, 3. I only have 3 steps. If you have a football field to work with, to train, start at one end zone and do this to the other one. A lot of how I used to train with Green Mountain Dog was shit like that. We'd do Heaven 6, and then we'd start on one. When he first started training me, we trained at this field that was 2 baseball diamonds, kind of like face to like butted up against each other. So we'd start at like one foul line and go to the opposite foul line on the other diamond. He would run forward at me, throwing Heaven 6. I would run backwards, doing Heaven 6. And then when I would get to the foul line, I'd stop and I'd go on first one knee, then both knees. Then I'd move to sitting. Then I'd lay down. Then I'd get back up. And then I'd run at him.
Damn.
So doing that, I know, and Pat's big as shit. So like when you're backpedaling and he's just running forward at you, throwing Heaven 6, it's scary. But that's how I got used to doing that stuff. It's how I got used to running forward at someone and backpedaling, is like doing it. And it was clear that Senor Death Squad police officer had not been practicing that. So this is, you're working as the guy going forward, but you also need to think about being the guy going backwards. And in the case of Green Mountain and I training, my backpedaling got better. I got good at running backwards, but there was nothing behind me. I could see all the way to the fucking street past the diamond. I knew there was no one there, and I knew there was no stuff in the way, right? So if that's the case, and you practice running backwards, like, all right, maybe you can keep up with the guy who's going forward trying to hit you. I don't know. Like, that's a case of my skill is better than his skill. And like, yeah, you do want your skill to be better than whoever you're going to run into. You really don't want to rely on like, well, I'll just be more skilled. If you go out there and you're like, well, I'll just be more skilled than those guys. Yeah, but say they have one really unsophisticated thing that they're really good at, that they've done to a bunch of people in real life, where you have all this theoretical skill. Like it's not a winning bet,
Yeah, half of these fucking guys in prison for the rest of their lives, they don't know shit about any of this crap, but they know how to just like just go for that kill.
That's what they do. Boom, you're done.
I can say that skill is definitely not everything. Because if your opponent has fucking ape strength and you can't get away from that, you are fucked.
Yep.
And I say this because I was teaching a new student. This guy had been with me for maybe 3 months. And it did not matter. It did not matter. If it was a grappling scenario, it didn't matter. Like I'm a big chick, but goddamn, like this dude, he outweighed me by like 40 pounds. But like if he grabbed me, there was literally nothing I could do. He could just move my arms wherever the fuck he wanted, and like he would do this to bigger dudes too, like dudes that were bigger than him, and he would just grab them and muscle them about. And it's like his black belt jujitsu teacher was like, look, I'm not going to teach you if you're just going to use your ape strength, man. Because he did, he could, right? So his strength really does play a huge part. Like some people really can just guerrilla their way through shit, and you can't do fuck all. So if your skill is up, your movement has to, your skill with footwork has to be up, but you still have to have another plan for when that shit fails, like when somebody can just grab you and fling you about like a rag doll.
Yeah, one of the things that is sort of misleading about training jujitsu is the like, oh, the little guy can always beat the big guy if the little guy's got better skill. In a padded room, maybe, with the rule that you're not allowed to pick a guy up and slam him directly on his head. You know, the little guy might win. Probably gonna win if the little guy's got better skill. But if you're in a room with tables and chairs and stools and glass bottles and fucking, corners and stuff like a bar, maybe not. If you're out on the street, maybe not. Big guy might get the smart idea of just lift little guy and slam, lift little guy and slam. And you do it 3 times to somebody on pavement. If you've got 100 pounds on them, they're done. It doesn't matter how good their skills are. I've rolled straight jujitsu with girls that had blue and purple belts, and they're, I've been beaten, or at least like not been able to get any kind of a submission attempt or anything like that. As soon as the slight bit of chaos of it being a stick fight comes in, or I can strike, it rapidly goes south for them really quickly. And it's not a failing of that person beyond their training. They're just not used to training with that methodology in mind, where like, oh, okay, maybe my technique won't work in the moment yet. Like, you might have to cook the beans, as the Brazilians would say. There's I think Hickson Gracie says that, like, when he gains top position, he cooks the beans for a while. He softens you up. And if you can't do that to someone, your fancy technique might not work. So that kind of takes us into the other guy. So the machete guy was pretty fucking pretty determined. He was a big guy, he was a strong guy, and he was attacking with really really aggressive forward movement. So when the other dude just started backpedaling like this, oh shit, he was screwed. And one thing that Schiefer brought up through the chat on my phone was that when a person has a rifle like this, if they're they're right-handed, which most people are, or even if you're not a righty, most people shoot that way because of the ejection port and how guns function. Just most people shoot that way. Your left hand and your left side are forward. So what Schiefer sort of said was that pull to that side could be that much more powerful because of the structure that the person has on their weapon.
We're good at resisting by pushing things, but we're not good at resisting by pulling things. So if you try to push them toward their right side, they're trying to pull back to their left. So they're inherently weaker. It's just like if you stick your hands out in front of you, your arms are easy to push in, but they're difficult to push out.
I got you. Yep.
Like try it with somebody sometime where you just stick your hands out and let them push from the outside versus pushing from the inside. And
so exactly. That's one thing that from the bad guy's standpoint, or that you need to be conscious of if you're the guy with the two-handed rifle going backwards. So what this guy could have done in that case, right? There's sort of two things. One, keep moving backwards but angle off, or two, stand your fucking ground right then and there. right? Like you don't want to be running backwards against someone running forwards at any point. Like the guy going forwards is probably going to win. If you look at my wrists, I don't know if you can see, one of them is fucking clearly like cocked off to the side. There's like the one that's basically straight, and then this one kind of like does this move. When I was 15, I grew up playing ice hockey, and I played defense. So you skate backwards a lot of the time. Like I did this for somebody at work the other day. I ran in a figure-8 circle, but never stopped facing the same direction. If that makes sense. Like I came up here, I came back there, I came up here, and I just did figure-8s like this. And I did it like in kind of a big space. I'm like, yeah, it's Russian circles. You fucking do it all the time in hockey. So I'm very comfortable going backwards and moving around in that way. Most people are not. Like you're gonna fucking fall. But when I was 15, I got in a disagreement at a roller hockey game, and I told the guy, I was like, motherfucker, I will beat you skating backwards while you're skating forwards. Let's do this. So we went out to the street because the rink wasn't going to be big enough. We went out to the street, and I started going backwards. He started going forwards, and I hit a sewer grate. I was beating the motherfucker, but I hit a sewer grate, and I went flying, and like an idiot, I did this. I snapped my wrist like a twig. And then I did a bunch of other dumb shit, so it didn't heal good. And so my right hand sticks off at an angle now. But the point was, I was confident as shit in going backwards, and I still ate it. Like I was confident as shit and doing it all the time, and I still ate it because there was a thing I didn't think about behind me, or I didn't see, or whatever. So the slightest bit of a trip up in that situation can be catastrophic. If that situation had been, you know, someone coming to get me, I was done because I just fell and broke my damn wrist. All my momentum went behind me and snapped my shit, and like it hurt right away. And that's in this case where we've got a guy who's like doing this move, that's instinct. He's instinctually running away. You know what instinct is? Put your hand down. So instinct will fuck you up a lot of the times. So you have to build in these skill things. If I'm going backwards 1-2 steps and off, 1-2 steps and off. So yeah, he might have been surprised. You know, that guy thought that he just perforated you, your dog, your baby, everything. And he's just like, they think they might be like loading up to go in and finish everybody off. And then all of a sudden, some guy comes running out. So in that case, this is going to be your first thing you're going to do is go, oh, shit, right? But that guy locked into that and kept oh shitting. So if you go, oh shit, that little bit, that guy coming forward on the straight line is going to have to reorient to come get you. You know, your oh shit hopefully will be to the side that he's not loaded back up on. But you know, in either regards, getting your weapon up is number one. You got to do that first. And like, okay, so you got a little distance. Well, now act like you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Act like you're a professional at that point. And that's not what happened. That guy got fucking killed. So kind of think about, you know, if you're in the situation, whether it's you have a stick or a sword or whatever, or you do have a long gun, the first thing you want to do, block. So this could be roof block, or it could be double-handed block. I use this block in stick fights as well. So this stuff is applicable. I have a whole bunch of two-handed shit. So a two-handed block, there's the grab the back of the head and knee, bayonet style thrusting. This, if you actually have a gun, you thrust it into their guts and fire. Fuck them. Like, we're not worried about them anymore. Like, they're trying to put a big cleft in the middle of your forehead. So making a tunnel in their tummy is totally okay here. So block, step in, stand your ground, or block, angle off, and use your weapon. You can do all sorts of like, I don't know if I learned this in Dog Brothers type training or what, but we used to also do kind of angle back that way, switch, angle back this way, switch. And you can do 2 steps this way, 2 steps this way, 2 steps this way. Fuck, I don't have that many steps. I'm running out of steps. But, you know, think about it. Switch, switch. So if the other person is aggressively coming at you, you change the angle from side to side just by changing your lead and continuing that direction. In a stick fight, okay, cool. Maybe in this combat situation, cool. That gives your guys time to get in. But that guy was in an alley. So he could only angle off so far to either direction. And there seemed to be curbs. So if you're in the middle of this kind of street area and there's a curb on either side of you, you might not even have 2 big strides, especially when you're panicky. That second stride might hit the curb, oh, and we're back at the beginning again. We're laying on the ground and the other guy's fucking cutting our face open. So the idea of at some point having to stand your ground is also kind of paramount in this situation. So that was sort of why I was saying, you know, either stand your ground or angle. But you have to decide in the moment, like, is this a situation where I can angle off and take 3 steps this way? Or is it one where my second step is going to go, and I fall down? So I think most likely the stand your ground is what's going to keep you the closest to alive that you're going to get. You know, that might be the die less often equivalent here. So yeah, say you take those first 2 steps back, right? Your first move, boom. The very first thing you got to do is block that cut that's coming in. Block the cut and then thrust with the front end, the business end of the pistol, so, or the business end of the rifle rather. Block, thrust. Block, thrust. Or the other option, because you've got a butt end, block, butt, right? So they come out, block, butt. As your opponent's weapon comes in, turn over. So it hits between your hands and you guide them. So now you're pushing them away, stepping in, smashing them in the face with the butt. Block it, step, boom. Right. So this is like you're out of ammo. In this situation where you've just shot into a fucking house a bunch of times, like we're not all that concerned with not shooting bystanders apparently in this case. So if you've got any ammo left, this is probably a good time to use it. But if you don't, this is where that butt stroke comes in. It is unpleasant to have someone take something like a rifle barrel or anything hard and hit you in the stomach with it like this, or even hit you in the face. If you're confident enough, stomach, face, okay, that's good. Boom, boom, right? This one bends them over a little. That one feeds them the barrel. However, if you're out of ammo, like if I've got ammo in my gun, I'm gonna jam it into his stomach and fire. If I don't, jam it into his stomach, then hit him in the face. Maybe then bring the butt. Like that. But in this case, we're assuming ammo, boom, boom. No ammo, block, redirect, butt stroke. From there, your butt stroke, and then smash them with the front end, right? So we block the incoming machete and redirect. As soon as our hand gets across center line, right, their machete is now offline. Boom, stay on the center line like a straight punch. Boom, hit him with that, smash him with the barrel, right? Because that guy had a full-length shotgun. So he had several inches of steel barrel sticking out here as well. So butt stroke to the face, right? Barrel strike to the head. And then you can continue with those, right? Butt stroke, or I'm sorry, butt stroke, barrel strike, butt stroke, barrel strike. Works with the stick as well. You want to give yourself a little bit of additional length here, but puño, strike, right? Puño, strike. And from here, especially if you're in close, push the guy back a little, puño, strike. And then now you should be able to open up your range. Right? Little space, puño, strike. Boom, boom, boom. Space with the push. So you kind of do a bench press sort of motion to get the guy away from you. Puño, strike. And depending on the range, you can step through with that strike, or you can strike, puño, strike, puño, strike. So you think about throwing this one almost like throwing a punch. You're hitting with this, boom, but you're putting the same body mechanic, the hip, everything, bang, 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 bang. So Mark Denny talks about consistency across categories. And I think that's really, really important, that you need to be familiar with the weapon that you're using. You know, whether it's the machete, the club, the pistol, the rifle, the pocket knife, the pen, you know, maybe pick up my dab torch. Like, you don't know what you might have to hand, but as much as possible, you want to keep things as consistent from step to step. So familiarity with the attributes of the weapon, yes, but at the same time, you know, having a lot of the same moves in a stick fight that you would have in actual hand-to-hand combat. That's sort of what I think is the goal here. I'm not practicing stick fight. Yes, okay. I am practicing stick fighting to stick fight in Dog Brothers. Like, that became my sports as an adult. I stopped playing with balls and started playing with sticks. But actually, I was playing with sticks and balls for periods in my life. Again, no, what did I say? No soy maricón. Pero $20 is $20. But even though I take the old school approach to sports, and the reason they started playing sports was to have something to do when they didn't have time of war, particularly with the young males that they were going to need to send to war. So, you know, the sport of stick fighting should be preparing you for combat, in my opinion. Not everybody trains that way. You know, some people just, they always want to do a Dog Brother gathering or something like that. But I think it should be, you know, one follows the other, or they go hand in hand or whatever, between the actual combat and the sport side of things. So if we can take motions that would work with a combative situation, shotgun, or with my collie stick, you know, they as much as we can make those things work together, we should. I guess is my point. That was kind of a ramble, but anyway, so that scenario had been playing through my mind, and sort of like what each guy could have done better in that situation. Realistically, like, yo, where were that guy's friends? Where are the other fucking cops? That they were just watching. I mean, obviously everyone was taken aback. Like, I don't think anyone expected that guy to pop out, but still, like, they just let that guy get fucking killed. Maybe they were reloading. The video follows those two, so you lose the other police officers from the frame. Maybe they were reloading and they did get him right away, but didn't help their friend any, that's for sure. So anyway, yeah, so that was sort of the scenario that I'd been thinking about this week. Does anybody have any other like stuff they've been working on, or any questions?
Yeah, I got a quick question, Mr. Sound Sir. I raised my hand. The first combo we were talking about, coming in, stuffing, would that work with the reverse grip? I'm thinking, like, you know, if I'm plunging, pulling out, and plunging again.
Yeah, Yeah, so in that particular case, if we're talking about a shorter knife, and we're doing like it's gonna depend on a couple things. Number one, how big and what shape is your knife? If you've got one of those like intentional reverse grip edge in Pakal kind of knives, you're gonna be sticking in and pulling the person forward.
Yeah.
There's gonna need to be some sort of a withdrawal motion or something to get a good shot in there. But if you're using a relatively straight blade, this is push and poke, right? It's shove them and go, or grab and stab, right? Same idea. So you're going to get the guy and you're going, oh, hello. Sorry. Like I said, 3 strides, and there are 3 slow strides, not 3 fast ones. So we're coming in first strike, then either, withdrawing and pushing the guy, or withdrawing and grabbing him to continue from here, right? So if you're in a situation like this is a good, Mark Denny kind of talks about, and I know I've kind of flipped back to Crafty a bunch of times, but he's one of my big influences, regardless of what Renee says. If we're working with our reverse grip and the edge out, and we're trying to, say, escape a situation, our goal isn't necessarily to finish the guy in front of us. We're going to want to use that that push and poke. We're trying to make space and either knock that guy down or take away his ability to fight. So, first of all, stab him in the face. When people get a piece of metal jammed into their face, whether it's their eye or scraped across the forehead or something like that, it's going to take a little bit of their will to fight away. Someone feeling a knife pass through their cheek and scrape across their teeth, for example, it's going to psychologically do some shit. So if you're aiming your thrusts to the face, number one, that's going to make the person pull their head back and flinch. You're going to do some of this, and it's probably going to cause them to put their hand up. So in this case, they're putting their hand up and you're getting under it for the push, right? So we're doing this one. I'm not jamming it into their chest. I'm poking them in the face, right? I want the space. I want to be not just where you're standing. I want to be behind where you're standing right now. And I'm fucking coming there, and you're getting out of my way or you're not. And if you don't, I'm going to stab you in the face and push you back. If you don't fall, I stab you in the face again. Probably you're going to fall, or probably you're going to get out of the way or something. But this person is going to be reaching out for this. No one wants to get stabbed in the face. So as you're coming in with this, your next move is the push. Conversely, that could be, or actually not conversely, because that would be like opposite. But at the same time, maybe that's a punch. Maybe you're really trying to get the fuck out of there, and you're just throwing punch. You're throwing punch, stab, punch, stab, or thrust, or whatever you want to say. Same thing. We're marching forward. So, Crafty's system is a little different. He does this kind of shit, which works good if you train it, but like it's not that intuitive to do unless you train it. So if you want to learn the Chupacabra transient weapon craft stuff, it's pretty good. I trained it for a couple hours with him before he left, but I feel more confident just stand in front of me, fucking stand in front of me and tell me that you'll stand there, even if you're a bigger guy. Go ahead, stand there, fuck you. You're getting stabbed in the face and then punched. So that is how I would teach that to someone. That is how I would sort of frame it. Now we go to the less all you guys are people I trust here. This isn't the kind of thing that I would publicly be teaching people. The other option is the grab. So now we are invested in getting rid of this guy. Like My boy Chris Hansen is back. I don't know if you guys know who the fuck Chris Hansen is, but he's like a modern day saint. He's Dateline. Why don't you have a
I love
seat?
that guy.
Why don't you have a seat? He's got a new fucking show called Why Don't You Have a Seat? And it's
Really?
available on YouTube. Yeah, he did. I think he did
Dude.
like 8 or 10 busts.
I love that guy.
I would like my friend Chris Hansen to forget about the police and just hire a couple of guys wearing Jason masks with
Couple
fucking
goons.
machetes to be waiting for him, because those assholes expect to get arrested at the end of things. Fuck you.
Dude, I
So-
love those.
Let's say Chris Hansen hired us to start cleaning out the pedophiles. So I feel good about that. I feel good about stabbing
Oh,
pedophiles.
mysteries.
It's fine. or Shifra, pedophiles, where you're from. We're getting rid of the pedophiles. So this is where the grab and stab comes in. Now here, we're going to use that same idea of steering the guy around a little bit to open things up. So same thing. This one maybe brings their hands up. This one grabs clothing, grabs bicep or shoulder or something, and really digs in and then steers. So we're hoping to open up their left side to our right side. So here, I wouldn't keep going with these. I'd switch to these. Right, get them there. So the first one, coming on the high line, to put the hands up. Right? And then either a grab and pull, a direct grab and pull, something like that. If their hands are framed up here, yeah, just push them away. Grab the opposite hand and pull it across. If they only put one hand up, maybe grab the shirt. But here you want to get into the unbalancing, right? Something else that I was talking to people about recently was this move. Pull their shirt over their face, grab their shirt and push it up. It's a dick thing to do. Grab someone's shirt, push it up, jack them. You pull your hand to their forehead, punch right under your hand. They don't see it coming. They're unbalanced. They got to get their shirt down first. So reach out, right in the face. I might show that one a little bit tonight too. It was kind of chilly this morning when I got up, so I was a pussy. I got in here instead of outside. But I'm going to teach tonight in front of Bob so that you can see that stuff a little bit clearer. But yeah, grab the shirt front and lift it. Then they can't see what's going on. That's a very like hoodlum kind of thing to do to somebody. But if you're talking about a life and death situation, as opposed to Dog Brothers situation, fuck them. If you can do it to somebody in a Dog Brothers fight, do it. I'd love to see it. I would love to see somebody like just whoop, hit somebody in the face. It's tough because usually you don't have the mask off when you're standing, but if you can make it work, make it work. Utilizing the other guy's clothing against him, a hood is the same thing. If the person's got a hood, grab it and pull. If you can, if you reach up to grab their shoulder or whatever and you get some hood, pull that across their face. I got this. If this thing's here and you can grab it, you push it across their face and then hit them.
If they have strings on their hoodie, you can grab those too and just pull straight down.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Because it's going to tighten all this in and pull you.
Well, and if the hood's over their face, then, now they can't see. So
exactly.
I actually saw.
Oh yeah, if they're here.
That made me laugh. Because
I noticed none of my hoodies have strings. I do that on purpose.
Yeah, well, the dude, it wasn't a zip-up hoodie. It was just like a regular one. So the dude reached out, saw those strings, grabbed, pulled straight down, just started feeding the guy shots. It's funny.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So these are all environmental concerns that you're wearing about yourself, rather than just the things around you. Some of the environmental concerns are, like I was saying before, the curb. Oh shit, you didn't even think about that. Or a broken manhole cover like I hit. Or maybe one of your friends falls down. You know what I mean? Like maybe you both backing up and fucking, it looks like a Three Stooges routine at that point. Only with more blood.
Those guys can fight pretty good.
The Stooges? Yeah, those dirty bastards. Right. Yeah.
They're like
Watch
some of
the
these
shit the Stooges.
inspirations, man.
Yep. Yep. You know, it's silly, but it also has there's some merit there. Poking people in the eyes is fucking legit, man.
Power slaps.
Power slaps. Fucking Mo. I'm pretty sure he was really hitting those guys a lot of the time. I heard
they
he
were
was a
smacking
nice
each other.
guy, which made me sad. That Mo was a real piece of shit. I have a buddy who's like in his early 50s, and he was telling me he knows all the lore and all the background and all the history of the families and everything else. And he was telling me all about it. And Mo was a bastard. And I was like, man, I was really hoping that guy was cool in real life because he was a real bastard on the show.
Listen,
yeah, man.
I tickled somebody to get out of being choked one time. I didn't give a fuck.
It's goofy, but it works, man.
Got enough out of it.
Yep. Biting works. Most people, as soon as they feel teeth, they don't want any more to do with it. Like, they'll at least, the only problem with doing stuff like biting, eye gouging, groin kicking, whatever, is like
hepatitis, AIDS.
Okay, the two problems. One being hepatitis and AIDS, but the other one being that if it doesn't work, you made that person really fucking angry. Like, you jumped levels, and they might be pissed. I've been hitting the balls a lot. In fact, I've posted a couple of pictures of me being hitting the balls this week, including last night, the one of Robert Koenig just fucking hammer fisting my junk. Steve sent me that picture, and I was like, oh, this is going up. He must have screen capped it from one of the videos because I'd never seen it before from that angle. But, oh, yeah, I mean, Robert weighs 260 pounds, and he was pinning my upper body. And as soon as I lifted my legs up, he started smashing me in the junk. And he does it 3 times, and he goes, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. And he goes, good. Boom, does it again. So,
yeah, man. Scrambled eggs, bro.
It was a rough moment. But I was okay. Like, and I really wanted to stab him after that, like, for a little while. Like, kind of even when it was over for a minute. I was like, oh, you fuck. We're buddies, so it isn't really that big of a deal. Like, we know in a Dog Brothers fight that, like, you might kick him in the balls. Like, you shouldn't, but you kind of can.
Yeah.
Depending on how good of friends you are, or how much they deserve it, like Renee. But anyway, man, yeah, those sorts of techniques, whether it's biting, eye gouging, groin kicking, follow up tickling, exactly, follow up immediately.
Pinching, man, pinching fucking hurts, man, especially those tender spots.
Yeah, dude, this one, it's like you were bad in front of your grandma and she just that shit or something.
Those shits fucking hurt, man.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Those sorts of techniques can be extremely disruptive to your opponent, but you have to follow up right away.
For sure.
In MMA,
that's a really good point.
In MMA, guys use Derek Lewis did something that no one has done up to now. On Joe Rogan this week, he straight up admitted to kicking guys in the balls sometimes because he knows he's going to get a warning the first time.
Oh, I gotta hear that.
Yeah. That's the first time you've really heard anybody come out and straight say, oh, yeah, well, you get a warning the first time you do these things, so why not do one? Eye gouge. Eye gouge is another one.
Remember that was the rumor with John Jones's crew that
I wouldn't fucking call that a rumor at all. He does it on purpose, and you can watch. I'm gonna tell you.
His whole squad does that shit. How they hold it too, like,
right? Yeah, they all do. They use that front hand. You can continue to palm someone out here indefinitely. It's when you intentionally take your index finger, you find the corner of their eye, and you wipe through it. That's what they're doing. They're not jamming something in there because that might stop the fight. No one who is a professional fighter is going to take a minor eye injury, even if it's going to affect them and be like, I can't see. Even if they can't see. You don't want to do so much damage in that case that the doctor just stops it, or that it's clear that they can't see to everyone involved. Yeah. Because that's what happens sometimes. You'll have a guy take so much damage that So,
dude, what happened to Alan Belcher? Remember?
Yeah,
that ended his career.
Exactly. What those guys are doing is really smart. They're palming the face, and then they drag a finger through the eye. They rake the bottom or top lid really hard.
Yep.
And it doesn't do so much damage in the moment, but it does enough to give you an advantage.
Yeah.
In a real situation, dig in and do that. But
dude, I practiced that with this guy all the fucking time. If you
try and Larry like this one, somebody, you might jam your fingers. Like if you've ever tipped your fingers on a basketball or something like that, shit hurts fuck, and it does legitimately take away from how useful your digits are for a minute. So palming and then digging, either wiping a finger through the eye like that, or doing this kind of motion across like this.
Yeah, yo,
where
dude,
you rake and gouge.
That shit is crazy. Me and my brother used to fucking wrestle like that. Well, who's that guy? The Shredder, you know, it's called the Shredder. And he would say, like, he would just tell you to kind of do that shit. What's it called? The guy's name. I forget the fucking guy's name.
Don't use both hands. Because then at that point, you're leaving yourself completely vulnerable to anything else. The eye attack just wants to be one quick thing. Rake the eyes, hit him. Or if you can get the guy like this, push back. Dig in, push back, hit him. Immediately hit him with your other hand. In the process of doing it. They don't do that in MMA so much because it becomes clear that you just intentionally fucking grab the guy's eye.
Yeah.
It's also harder because those guys are professional fucking face punchers. Like they're moving around, they're doing stuff. But if you're running up, grabbing, twisting, gouging in, and then striking right away, or elbow right away if you're too close, or that's when to insert your knife. Now they're doing this stuff. But you don't want to get both hands in there. You only need to fuck with one eye. Like one eye is enough. The person's gonna do something. They're gonna do something. So you don't have to worry about like attacking both eyes. One, boom, get them with the other hand. Boom, get them with the other hand.
That like the slap them on top of the head and kind of drag your hand down a bit.
Slap like the forehead and drag. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot the name, but I gotta check them out.
Use the facial structure to guide yourself into the eye. You know what I mean? There's round holes there, ramps here. You can just hit the forehead and drag down. As soon as you hit, I have a pretty good shelf system going here. So like if you push hard on my forehead, your fingers drop right into my eyes. And then once, I mean, like, you can go really deep with practicing the eye shit, dude. You can tape an orange to your bob and practice gouging into it or stuff like that. That's fucked up.
Yeah, I want to get to that point, man.
I know, like we're saying some pretty crazy shit, but like that's fucked up. I don't do that.
That's the route I want to go to down, you know, as I get older.
Right. You know, none of us are becoming more capable as we're getting older. Everybody on this chat's decently over 30. So like we're not getting better at healing and recovering and like things like that at this point. So
hell no. Shit is the worst, bro.
But I think in a self-defense or a life or death situation, you gotta just basically fucking just end it as quickly as possible, man. You know, I'm gonna be 45. I'm not looking to dance around and make the world star highlight.
Hell fucking no.
I'm looking to just eyes, throat, you know, eyes, throat, that's it. And I always teach my students, I was like, you know, if you ever defend yourself, I know not a lot of people have that propensity for violence. And I would say that all of us here have what I call the flexible morality, where we're upstanding, we're good folk, but you put us where our backs to the wall, that's it, you know, all bets are off. So I teach my students, I'm like, you're writing a love letter to yourself, because when somebody attacks you, they're devaluing you. So when you put it in that frame of mind of like, I'm not committing an act of violence, I'm committing an act of love and protecting myself, you know, and I want to write a very, very powerful, short and succinct love letter, man. Just boom, to the point.
I like that, man. That's really cool.
The light,
and it's like Master Carlito said that time. Master Carlito, he was like, you know, he was like, he wants to end that shit like in 30 seconds, man.
Yeah.
Fast.
And it's like, you know, you got to be quick about it. Master Jeff, when I train with him and we do disarms, if I don't get it in 3 moves, he makes me start over. He's like, if you don't get it in 3, he goes, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, he'll pop me and then I got to start over again, you know, and you got to be just quick and to the point. You know, the eyes, I love that. Just getting in there. You know, you teach Krav Maga and people are like, and I'm like, if it's a difference between you going home and you have to feel a little gross and squishy shit, do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I
You're
love that
gonna
video
think
of
it
that
in the
guy.
moment. Hmm?
The guy, he's like a soldier. He's in Colombia or somewhere, and the guy's challenging him. I do karate, and he just says, "Okay,
And
let's
he
go."
just
And
fucking
just
rails the
boom,
guy in the eye, and that's it.
and he
Fight
walked away.
Well, you know why he walked away? Because that other dude's friends hadn't figured out how bad he hurt him yet. And he was like, I better get the fuck out of here before those guys realize I probably just crippled him. And if he's in the military, I might have ended his military career. And there was a lot of guys there. There were several other dudes. They were all very young and they looked very fit. And he did not look young or fit.
Luckily for him, they were laughing at their friends.
That's what they were laughing, and he got the fuck out of there because he knew they were gonna stop laughing when they realized, like, oh shit, you just ruined that guy's eye. He crumbled. I mean, that
looked like one like just straight up old school like claw, man.
Yep, just moved. That was like Pai Mei ripping out fucking L Driver's eye. Just
Yep.
Or then when the bride does it later. I can relate anything to Kill Bill. I can just immediately bring it back to Kill Bill.
My favorite ripping out is Roadhouse at the end.
Yes. Throat. Holy shit balls. Yeah. Roadhouse, man.
Fucking Roadhouse, bro.
When I started bouncing when I was like 21, the guy that was in charge goes, watch Roadhouse. And I was like, really? Because I didn't know that much. Playing rugby, you know, I'd been in some hockey fights. I had some kickboxing and stuff like that. And like, this guy taught me a couple of like kind of cow catcher, throw people out sort of moves. He goes, yeah, watch Roadhouse. And I watched Roadhouse. I was like, I don't think, like, what did you want me to get out of that? And he was like, oh, nothing. It's a good movie. I was like, oh. He was like, yeah, don't do any of that shit. He goes, the only thing you should take from that is be nice until it's time to not be nice. That was the one thing. He goes, yeah. The rest of it, he goes, I do not want to see you kick anyone or try and rip anybody's throat out. Or I was like, why did you just tell me watch Roadhouse and then come back Friday? What do you mean? Give me the thing to look for. He goes, well, it's a good movie. I didn't want to ruin it for you. Oh, okay. So, but that's, you know, as a bouncer, that was good. It was funny when I came back to work. And he was like, oh, it's a good movie. I just wanted you to watch it. Like, that part actually made the lesson stick that much more because he made it fucking hilarious. But the lesson was like, be nice until it's time to not be nice. And I'm a fucking dick in that situation. I love working the front door because I can say whatever I want. You have to get through me. You can't come in if I say you can't come in. So I love talking shit. I like talking shit to people on their way in. Questioning IDs that are clearly the person. Like, clearly it's you, but being like, I don't know, what's your sign? Yeah, what's the address on this card? Like, it's like, they're clearly, this is definitely your idea, just like giving them that. And then my other favorite is seeing people that came in like very like, ooh, look at me, I'm sexy, I'm all dressed up, just being a sloshed, sloppy mess when they leave. That's fun too. That and turning on the lights. I don't know if you've ever turned on the lights in a crowded bar at closing time, but seeing people see the person they've been hitting on for the first time in the light with the sound off, like, oh, music off, lights on. They're like, can I get one more round? Like, get that move. You sure it's last call? All right, give me 3. I'll take 3. All right, let's go home before these really kick in. Like, go ugly or go home early is the way that the bar works. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Does anybody got anything else? Do you have any questions, concerns?
Yeah, I got a question for you, Nick. When you went to
Hey, this is my Zoom.
Yeah, you gotta have permission to ask that question.
How did you get the machetes and all that shit back home?
Oh, from the Philippines?
Yeah.
Oh, I put it in my check-in luggage, man.
And they didn't give you no heat?
No. I mean, it's different if it was like I was concerned because I got a Bali song.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like because like people are always bringing things back and forth to the Philippines as long as my luggage weighed 50 pounds. I mean, if they checked it, I would just say they were for gifts, but it wasn't in my carry-on. So
Yeah, right.
it wasn't much of a problem. And I didn't bring back anything illegal. I mean, they were all kind of brutal and scary looking, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I would have had a problem probably justifying bringing this bad boy back home. What is that for, sir? Paring knife. But
I was gonna say it's chopping onions, man.
But no, it was just I was more concerned about the weight because I had so much that I was bringing back.
Yeah.
I had
Because
47.
I want to get some. I want to buy some machetes. I'm going
and
to Puerto
some
Rico
underwear.
on Saturday, and I want to buy some machetes. I just don't know how I'm going to bring them back.
Yeah.
I guess I have to buy a luggage over there or something and
You're
check
only
it.
going to PR, right? You don't even
Yeah.
go to customs when you come back.
No, I mean they do check your shit because the last 2 times we went there, they checked all our shit, and we
Yeah.
had to. We bought those Puerto Rican beers. They made us dump them.
Yeah, you can't bring like certain things like alcohol and stuff back. But
Dude.
like, dude, it's
I
like
drank those beers right there.
it's flying to the gathering. You got a bag full of weapons. You got to check it in.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I fly with sketchy shit all the time. If I mean like Nick said, if your question be like, these are gifts, man. I'm gonna fucking, one's for my wall, one's for my dad, or whatever. Like,
Yeah, I'm a martial artist. I'm bringing gifts back to my friends. You know.
yeah, it's not blades are legal. I mean, depending on where you are. The only thing that I worry about when I fly with shit is some fucking baggage handler jacking stuff.
Yeah.
That's happened to me too. I had my shit
That's a
stolen.
possibility. It's a possibility. It doesn't happen often, but you never know. TSA won't do it probably, and they'll leave you a note in your bag that they looked. But yeah, I also bury shit in my bag. You'll see it with an X-ray. And if you X-ray it and you need to take it out, I don't know, man. Fucking pack my shit back up. But like, as long as it's pretty deep in there, nobody that's just feeling the outside is gonna be like, what's this?
Yeah, you wrap them, bundle them together too. It makes it harder to read.
Yep. I'm all flat.
And you're going to Puerto Rico, so that's not a problem. You're not.
Yeah, but the only thing is, the last time I had a problem with the beer, and it took so long. They were checking all our shit. Like, what the fuck?
Was that?
I just don't want to get. Huh?
Oh, did you try and carry those on?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I didn't know you couldn't do that. I didn't know you couldn't do that. I thought it was fine.
You got to
can't
check.
walk on a plane with a 6-pack, man.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Because one time I went to California, this guy walked in with a fucking champagne bottle, and that shit popped. When we took off.
He bought it within the terminal.
Yeah.
You can buy that 6-pack in the terminal for 4 times the price.
Yeah.
Free, no taxes. Yeah, but you charged me fucking $45 for it because I'm in here. It's like buying anything inside, like buying water, buying a burger. You're gonna spend 3 times as much in the terminal.
Fuck yeah.
The most famous one in the last few years there was a woman who had an expensive bottle of, like, I forget whether it was wine or something like that. She got up to TSA and they were like, no, you can't bring this on the plane. Okay, opens it and just starts fucking pounding it right there.
That was me with them beers, dude.
Yeah. Well, then you want to get in there before you're too drunk to get let on the plane.
Dude, I was hammered.
I bet.
I was hammered. I was flying. I was so fucking wasted, dude.
I've never been so drunk that I was like, they might not let me on this plane. I've been very, very, very drunk getting on planes. But when my second gathering, I got stabbed in the ear, directly in the ear with a train, and I cracked my TMJ, and I had to have stitches from like this part all the way down into the fucking canal. I have 2 stitches in the canal in my ear. I don't even know how they got them in there. Because they basically put like a toilet seat cover thing over my head, so only my ear was sticking out. So I didn't see any of it. But when I had to ride on the plane, I took so much fucking Percocet. Because I was gonna have to go up and down a couple of times, and I had an ear injury. like an inner ear injury. So they were like, "Ooh, you're flying tomorrow? Like, oh, there's gonna be some pressure when you go up and down." And then we had a stop off in Vegas. So I had to go up and down in LA once, and then up and down in Vegas, and then back up to go home. And it hurt like fuck. So when we stopped in Vegas, I was like, all the Percocets. And my girl at the time had to like prop me up to get me on the plane. I was like full on nod squatting, and I had my whole head was wrapped. My ear was covered. I couldn't open my mouth wider than this because my fucking TMJ was broken. And I had to get on a plane. So that was bad. That was the worst. I also don't do particularly well with opiates, and they gave me Dilaudid, and I had to throw up. With a jaw that couldn't open much more than this.
On the plane?
No, the night before.
Oh.
No, by the time I got to the plane, that would have been hell. If I had to puke on the plane, it would have been bad. It would have been bad.
Dude, nothing worse than feeling sick on a plane, man.
Yep. The only time I've thrown up on a plane, I was hungover. Fucking Pappy Dog took me to this crazy party up in the hills after a gathering. This burlesque dancer's birthday, and he took me to one of those Hollywood Hills houses that you see in movies. And it was like 20 chicks that all do burlesque dancing, and like 5 gay guys, and me and Nick. But we stayed there till like I had to physically leave. I fell asleep for like an hour at his house, and thank God the guy that the taxi stayed. Like I had set up a taxi ride for 5 a.m. because I had like a 7 a.m. flight or whatever, and I slept through his call. And he like got a coffee and came back because I would have missed my second flight. So I missed my first flight completely. And as I get to the front of the line, I'm like doing this number, like I got like something wrong with me. And I'm like, I think my plane's about to leave. And the lady's like, your fucking plane left. She's like, I'll get you on the next one. Oh, but you're gonna have to change planes in Dallas Fort Worth, and there's only 15 minutes between flights. I'm like, okay. I didn't know DFW is a big fucking circle.
Yep.
My plane was on the other side, so I had to take a trolley and then run. Shit-faced still through the airport. And I get on my flight in Dallas. I made it. I was the last person on. I sit down next to a pregnant woman. So I have just alcohol pouring out of my body, and now I'm sick. So I threw up twice in barf bags next to this poor lady. She looked at me like I was the biggest piece of shit in the world, which like, you didn't even see me last night playing the kind of beer pong where you have to bounce it off your partner's boobs into the cups. Because that was the game we started playing. So that was the reason I was like, no, Nick, fuck my flight. Let's stay at this party. It's okay, man. It's okay. I'll be fine. I'll walk home.
You live once, my man.
Oh, dude, it was, yeah, well, I'm a pig. And I was like, this was only a couple of years into Dog Brothers too. So I wasn't even 30 probably at that point. So I was extra houndish.
Yeah, man, being sick on the plane, I'm not going to be wasted this time. I learned my lesson the last time.
No,
fuck that.
Fun on the plane.
I'm drinking water only.
Yeah, no, I like a beer or two, or like couple of good whiskeys before I get on. But then like my thing lately has just been edibles. This is all being recorded, so I'm probably gonna stop talking about becoming intoxicated. Although everybody on this call is well aware. I think you guys have.
Yeah, man, I'm a master with that shit. I just put the apps for I'm gonna try to be totally water and vegetables for a week.
Really?
Day two.
Yep. Yeah.
This is day 2. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it.
My diet's my hardest. That's the hardest thing for me. Is like I'll be good a few days a week, cooking food or eating things that I prepped previously. But then like last night, like I had a real busy day yesterday. We catered a bunch of stuff, fed hundreds of people, and I got out of work. The last thing I wanted to do was come home and turn on my oven. I ate 8 tacos. They were small
tacos,
but I just went and stuffed tacos into my face. and had a couple of beers because that was all I wanted in that moment. It was just like, oh my God, my day has been so long. But I'm like, fuck, that doesn't help me. You know, Saturday mornings, I have my strength and conditioning coach. So I'm training at 6 a.m. Saturday mornings, like hard squats and deadlifts and ride the air assault bike. Oh my God, that thing's a motherfucker. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen them. It's like, it's got the arms pump opposite the feet. So, and you can set it to different workouts. So he had me doing, I think it's, forget what it's called, Tabata maybe, where like you go really hard for like 20 seconds and then you rest for 10. Then really hard for 20 seconds and then rest for 10. I'm like halfway through, I looked at my coach and I was like, Josh, the 10-second rests are so short. And when I'm riding, it's so long. Like, what the hell? But like, this is terrible. But you know, I wish I lived a lifestyle where like I didn't have to work and I could just do that like 3-4 days a week, work out real hard in the morning, then go home and have an egg white omelet and fucking then have a, you know, a smoothie and this and that and other thing. But like, that's not how life works, man. I work my ass off doing that stuff. Then I go to work all day where like, oh, maybe I'm eating some barbecue meat or something. Or like yesterday, we were all running around like madmen. So the owner went and got us cheesesteak sandwiches. Like in my head, I'm like, I should be eating vegetables and watching my carbs and not eating white flour products and whatever. In reality, I'm like, oh yeah, give me the white flour and the fat and the cheese and all that stuff. Like pizza. Ate a whole pizza the other night. I still do enough physical stuff to work it off mostly, but like mostly.
Yeah. Hey, listen, fellas, I gotta run. Fox, thank you as always.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I gotta take care of some things beforehand.
Am I going to see you later, Nick, or what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
All right.
I'll set that up. All right, guys,
All right.
be well. Thank you
Yeah.
again. As always, great stuff, man.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Enjoy.
Yeah,
I'll see
man.
you during the week, brother.
Yeah, definitely. This week, you let me know when you're around. We'll get one in the morning before I work.
No, next week, the week after next, I'll be doing the mornings. But
Okay,
we'll set up a night or something like that. You let me know what's good for you.
cool. Sounds good. I'll let you know this week. Later,
Night.
man.
Later.
See you soon.
I'm probably gonna dip out too because I have a 10 o'clock ish.
Yeah, man. No doubt. It was fun though. Had a good time.
Good shit. So
I'm gonna practice that with my the block.
yeah.
I'm bringing this to Puerto Rico with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. Think about the aspects of that cane and the stuff that you could maybe do with it. You know.
I've been fucking with this a lot dude, lately, bro, because my hip is crazy bad.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah, I ordered some grip tape. It should be here tomorrow or Tuesday.
I think Pappy has some rattan canes or can make you one.
Oh yeah.
Want to get one yeah, because eventually a hardwood one, if you're hitting a tire or whatever, you'll break it or like.
Yeah, this feels like
Nick makes rattan ones.
I have this one over here. I have this one. This is not breaking at all.
That thing looks
This-
savage too.
But I have a feeling they'll give me shit on the airplane about this.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring. I mean, maybe not. Play up the limp. Play up a limp when you go and be like.
I'm just gonna take this one, man, just because I feel like I don't want to break. I don't want to have a problem.
Yeah.
But this will definitely. I mean, this will break, I guess, but it's gonna take a lot for this to break.
And if it does, stab them with the broken part.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Exactly.
stab the broken part right in their face. All right, I
But
gotta
yeah,
go.
those techniques work.
I gotta
All right, man.
before I do grappling stuff with Andrew. I have to disassemble my bob so I have a grappling partner.
Oh, sweet.
Doing some sort of guard stabbing from the guard shit. So maybe I'll show that stuff tonight if you guys pop on.
I'll be there tonight. My girl's not here, so.
All right, cool.
All right, thanks, Chris.
All right, guys.
See you, Fra.
Thank you for
Peace.
coming this morning.
Yes, sir.
We'll catch up later.
All right.
Have a good
Peace
one,
out,
guys.
yo.
Peace.